All right, hello everyone. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming, and I want to start out this tape, and I'll put it out there in other places as well with an announcement, and that is, it appears as though after a lot of finagling, I've gotten this to work where if you go out to here, you can find all the programs I've done so far. https://github.com, and of course you don't need the https // but if you go out to github.com/Jeff Teaches Programming, you'll find out there one repository, and that's all of my Jeff Teaches Programming C# programs. Should be public, so you can go and grab it. That's everything I've done so far. All right, and again, we'll talk about that some more later. All right, so what I want to do quickly, hopefully fairly quickly in this lecture is I would like to be able to finish up right now. If I go to my main form, I've got hourly, pieceworker, commission, salaried, and exit. Cool, great. That's exactly what I want there. And if I go to hourly, let's see what's there. Okay, I've got commission, pieceworker, salary, startup, and exit. That is correct. I've also changed so that, notice this says C# GUI payroll application /V1 V01 startup form. And the hourly says the same thing, but it says hourly worker form. All right, so after hourly, we had pieceworker, so let's look at that one. So we've got hourly, commission, salaried, startup, and exit. That looks good. And it says same thing, version 01 pieceworker form. So I've got those two are done. Let's go to commission. Hourly, pieceworker, salary, startup, and exit. And it says the same thing, commission worker form. That's good. Finally, let's do the last one, which is our salaried worker. There we go. Hourly, pieceworker, commission, startup, and exit. And we will very quickly change the text on there so that it says salaried worker form. Well, that was one of the first things, that I wanted to do here was to get that fixed. All right. Now, right now you can't go from form to form. Okay. But what I would like to be able to do right now is to write, and I don't know if I put it in here, I was playing with it a little bit before, but in my validation library, under my ValidationBoth, I've got this. It's called hideAndShow. And what it should do is I should have two forms that get passed in. The form that I want to hide and the form that I want to show. All right. And it hides the form to hide, and it shows the form we want to show. So I'm going to start with my main form and see if we can get this to work. All right, so with hourly right here, there's my hourly. Okay, now I have to make sure, of course, that I'm already using the validation lib, so that's good. All right, so what do we want to do here? Well, the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create an instance of our hourly form. So I'm going to say here, frmHourly, and we can call it whatever we want. Let's just call it hourly. And we're going to say it equals new frmHourly. All right. Then we want to call from ValidationBoth dot hideAndShow. And we want to hide the current form, which we typically would refer to as this, and the one that we want to show, which will be hourly. Okay. Now notice we have no errors. That's good. All right. Let's see if now, just by putting that little bit in there, all right, let's see if that worked. Now, one thing we probably should do is we should call, let's remove this. Why? Well, Do we have this? I don't know if we put it in there. We didn't put it in. Okay, we might eventually want to put this in with some menu options. All right, which would make some sense at least. So where we've got this, let's just call this show hourly. All right, now we're going to get an error, show hourly form. We're going to get an error because, of course, that doesn't exist. So private void show hourly form. And we'll paste that back in. There you go. Now, later, if we do go back in and we call, if we call that from a menu option, it should work. Now, let's see if this works. So File, Save All. And this is a big test, believe it or not. Hopefully, I've got the right project set up as my startup project, but we'll see. It is. Now, do I go to hourly? Bingo, hourly form. All right, so that's a good start. Let's do the other ones that are in here from our main form. So for pieceworker, show pieceworker form. All right, I was playing with this because there's different ways that this can be done, but I'm gonna get rid of this and basically do it the same way that I did up above. So I'm gonna say frm piece. We'll call it piece, and we'll say it equals new. Oops, frm piece. And validation both dot hide and show, and that'll be this and piece. All right, let's see if that one works. I'm going to pause this for a second. All right, the clock was going in the background, so let's stop this. Let's save. Let's run it again and now see if we can go to the pieceworker form. Bingo. Great start. Now, notice that with pieceworker and hourly, there's nothing in there yet. We still have to fill out those forms. But the idea here was to be able to jump back and forth. All right. So this show commission form, which we have in here, and there's different ways of doing it, and I played around with it a little bit, but I'm gonna change this to frm commission. We'll call it commission equals new, just like we did up above here. frm commission paren validation post, and so this will be commission. And while we're down here, let's just do the salaried one as well. All right, so we'll say frm salaried equals new frm salaried. And validation both, hide and show, this and salaried. Now, may not seem like a big thing, but now I should be able to jump from the main form to any of the other 4 forms. You've already seen this. Right now I'm going to have to run it a bunch of times, but there's hourly right there. We already checked these. Here's pieceworker there. Let's check the other 2 out now. This is CommissionWorker. And finally, let's check it out for salaried. They all work. It's a great start. All right. Now I've got this button 1 here. I'm not even sure what that is. Probably is something I don't need, but for now, because I don't want anything to break, I'm going to leave it there. All right, so we've got all these. All right, let's move to our hourly form. All right, we're going to do the same kind of thing here. All right, so we'll use show commission form, which again does not exist. So private void show commission form. And we're going to do it the same way that we did it back here. In fact, I could even copy this. Now, can we eventually take these and put them in our library? Not sure right now. I haven't thought that far ahead, I guess. All right. So this is, I'm sorry, we wanted to go to the hourly. All right. Well, doesn't like something. It says the name show commission form, because I spelled it differently. It's got to have 2 S's in it. There you go. Now we've got this hourly load. We really don't need anything in there, I don't think, but I'm just going to leave that the way it is for now. All right, so we've got that. That's a start. And what else do we have in hourly here? Got our pieceworker. So again, we'll call this show piece form. And again, as we do each one of these, we're going to get error messages because we haven't created them yet. All right, so all right, so this will be the same way we did it before. And this, I can't remember, I shouldn't go and just remove this. But what I can do to get rid of this thing in the load event is I can go over to hourly. I can click on the form itself, go to the lightning bolt, and just get rid of what this is. Oops. Don't want to double click it because, of course, that brought it up. All right, so here's our hourly. There it is right there. All right. So it should be gone now, and it is. All right, so we've got our show piece form, so it's going to be frm piece equals, we got to give it a name, piece equals new frm piece, and then validation both dot hideAndShow. Again, it'll be this and piece. I'm going to put all 4 of them in there. All right, and then we'll go back and test them. So the next is salaried. So it'll be show salaried form. And here we will have frm, salaried equals new frm salaried, validation both dot hideAndShow, and it'll be this, and it'll be salaried. All right, and then we've got our last one. Oops. And our last one is our main form. Startup. So it'll be show startup form. All right, now hopefully we can get, again, this is going to take a little bit to test this, but that's okay. So we can go from here now to our hourly. From hourly, we can go to commission. That worked. Like I said, it's kind of a pain in the butt right now because we don't have all the code in there yet. but we can go from hourly to pieceworker. Worked. We can go from hourly to salaried. That worked. Finally, the big one. Can we go from hourly back to startup? And that works. All right. So all of those work. We haven't put in the code yet for the exit. And I think I really should take that exit probably and put that also into our library. We'll do that in a bit. But for now, let's not worry about it. And again, this will be exit program or not. Let's go and copy that over from our main form, so we're sure it's the same way. There it is. Copy. Move that into hourly here. Now the big thing again, we've tested all the other ones. Can we go from our main form to hourly and then exit? Yes. All right. So we've got hourly done. The next one was pieceworker. So let's put in all those. Again, you're seeing we're still getting enough repetition here. Okay, so there's that first one. Let's just do all four. Guess all five. And the IntelliSense is trying to help us here. Okay, there's the second one. So far, we have hourly and commission. We need salary startup and exit. Okay, we need startup and exit. All right, finally, again, we need our exit. So in a later iteration of this, we'll attempt to take all these, show this form, put that in here also and see if we can get that to work. All right, so that's the last one there. Let's go back to hourly here and let's just grab all this. All right, so now let's see if we can go and whichever one of these we just did. Let's see if we can now do our pieceworker stuff. So file, save all. We've already tested being able to go from our main form to hourly and hourly to the other one. So we're going to pieceworker. There's hourly. There's commission. There's salaried. I'll make sure I'm doing the right one. So there's hourly. There's commission. There's salaried. There's startup. And there's exit. Okay, so those are done. Look at the top here. I was going to say I want to get rid of all. I'm trying to get rid of extraneous code as we've got it in there. So file, save all. The next one then is the commission worker. Okay, and you can see exactly what we're doing here. Could probably just go and copy these in. So you can call these whatever you want. So you can see that it's giving me this, but I just want to call it commission. And again, we could do a show dialog here, but we've got our validation both, hide and show. Okay, there's the commission form. Again, we are in our, right now, we are in commission. Let's go back and look at that again. That should be show hourly form. Which will now give me an error here until I fix it. This has to change to hourly. Okay, there's the first one. Let's do pieceworker. Okay, there's that one. do salary. Oops. Where am I? Just did salaried. Let's see. We've got hourly. We've got commission. We've got salaried. I'm in pieceworker. That's not where I want to be. I want to be in commission. Commission hourly. Good. Commission pieceworker. Good. And now it's salary time. One thing I want to go back and do bid. Okay. Show hourly form. Show salaried form. I want to be consistent with the way I name these things. I'll have to go back and double check that. All right, we need our startup. All right, and I think the only other one left is exit. So again, let's just go over and copy it because we've already got it here. So now we should be able to do our third one. In other words, we should be able to go to anywhere from our commission form. All right, so it seems like we've got everything done there. And I'm already almost at a half an hour here, so let's just do the last one, which is our salaried. Okay, there's that first one. Let's do the other three quickly. Getting a little confusing. So let me do a file, save all, and for now at least, let's close some of these. All right. Okay, so we've got the hourly, we've got the piece worker. Let's try to be consistent here. I don't know if I was or not, but oh, we don't want piece here. We want commission. Again, the IntelliSense is a blessing and a curse. All right, let's do the startup and then our exit. Okay, do exit, and then we're finished. Okay. And again, we will copy it over. Just grab it from one of the ones we already had. All right. Now, if everything goes according to form, now I should have all my links in, so I should be able to bounce back and forth now without any problem. Hourly, commission, commission to hourly, hourly to piece worker, piece worker to hourly, hourly to salaried, salaried to hourly, hourly to startup, startup to hourly. That's all of them. Let's go back to startup again. All right, startup to piece worker to hourly, back to piece worker to commission, back to piece worker to salaried, back to piece worker to startup, back to piece worker. Those all work. All right, let's go piece worker to commission, commission to hourly, and back to commission, commission to piece worker, back to commission, commission to salaried, and back to commission, commission to startup, startup to commission. All right, those all look good. Let's go back to our startup and let's try salaried. Salaried to hourly, hourly back to salaried. All right, salaried to piece worker back to salaried, salaried to commission worker back to salaried, and salaried to startup, startup back to salaried, and exit. So what I have done right now is I now have a way to bounce back and forth between any of the 5 forms that I have. All right, the main form, which I'm not showing now, the hourly form, the piece worker form, the commission worker form, the startup worker form, and exit. All right. And the other one I don't have in there, of course, is the salaried worker form. All right, so that's all done. So what I'd like to do then in the next video is to add everything that I'll need in here as far as widgets or controls that we're going to have to add. We'll do that in the next next part of this. And after we get done with that, we'll go in and we'll put in the code to make it hopefully at least work. All right, so I'll be back with that shortly. Remember, all right, before I leave, github.com, Jeff Teaches Programming, all of my Jeff Teaches Programming C# programs. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Thanks.